And we're back for another warm-up and workout for you today. This whole warm-up is going to be done on the ground. We'll be doing a bunch of different movements, so if you need a yoga mat or if you want to bring me into a spot that's a little more comfortable for you to be on the ground, feel free. We're going to start off nice and slow. We'll eventually pick some intensity up. We've got a really good active movement here today, all again on the ground. So we're going to be starting this off today in our plank position. So with that plank position, we'll be making a straight line with our body. The shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist are all in line, and we've got a really nice flat back as we go through. You can always drop down to your knees if we have to. So as we're going through this, we're just taking some deep breaths in, forceful exhales out. I'm breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth. This breathing is a really good thing to focus on during our warm-ups because that's really helpful as you get into your workout itself too, to find a good breathing pattern, especially if you find yourself in the middle with your heart rate a little bit higher than you'd like it to. Taking those deep breaths in and those exhales out will definitely help that. Taking 2 more breaths. And then we'll be dropping down to the knees, coming to our tabletop position. If you're familiar with cat-cows, if you do some yoga, I'm sure you've done these before. That cat-cow, pressing our stomach towards the ground as you look overhead, and then taking that big round in the back as you tuck your chin into your chest. Just taking some rotations between cat-cow. You don't have to count anything for our warm-up today. Just looking for consistent movement. Taking one more transition between cat and cow. And we'll be stepping back into plank, going for some slow mountain climbers, bringing the knees up towards your chest. We're going to be spending a lot of time with our shoulders today during our warm-up. Breathing is going to help get some oxygen into the body. If you feel shaky, take those breaths, take a quick break, and come right back on in. So again, just nice, slow mountain climbers, bringing your knees up towards your chest. Holding that plank, we'll set down onto the knees, coming back into our child's pose. As we do that, we're sending our hips back, sitting towards our heels, and pressing your chest towards the mat or the ground, wherever you happen to be right now. Taking a couple breaths. Letting those shoulders relax here, stepping back. We're going to be going to our plank position, stepping your right foot or your left foot. I've got my left. We'll get both sides in. Stepping one foot to the outside of your hands. If you can see, this back knee is up off of the ground. Taking a little bit of a stretch here, stepping back, stepping the right foot to the outside of your right hand. And just going back and forth, holding for about 2 breaths on each side. Again, this beginning portion of our warm-up is not super intense, but we should be getting some good activation in and feeling some good stretching. So if we want to drop that back knee down, if that helps get an extended stretch or helps you relax into that stretch, that's just fine too. We're taking one more step here per side. And going back into our plank, holding our plank position, sending hips up high to downward facing dog. And taking those transitions back and forth. My microphone's getting caught up as I'm going through these, so I hope you can hear me fine. On our last one, we're going to hold downward facing dog, taking pedals of your feet back and forth. Just continue to pedal, relax through your calves, trying to get your heel as close to the ground as you can. Again, dropping down to the ground, letting those shoulders shake out, and we're going to get into a seated position. Just a little bit of a stretch more than anything, bringing the bottoms of our feet together right now, letting the knees fall out to the sides, letting gravity do its thing. We should feel a good stretch in our groin and hips here. Warm up a little bit different today than usual. Usually we get right into it with up downs or burpees or high knees. But today we're really just focusing on getting the body warm while going through some mobility and some stretching. Taking a couple more deep breaths. And then bringing feet out as wide as we can. Now for some of us, we might need our hands behind us to help prop us up. Or if you're feeling good, we can bring our hands out in front. Now this is again just warm-up stretch, so make sure it's not feeling too intense. We want it to feel active, but we don't need to feel any pain. So if you're feeling any pain, ease off. Some of you may be a lot more mobile and stretchy than I am, being able to get your chest down to the ground. That's not quite in the cards for me today, but I'm definitely feeling that stretch on the inside of both of my legs. Again, taking a couple of deep breaths. Someday maybe we'll get down to the ground. If you're like me, just taking extra time stretching each day is definitely helpful. It's something I do not do enough of. All right, we're gonna get back into that plank position. We're gonna be starting to pick the speed up here a little bit. A variation of our mountain climbers will be bringing our knees to the outside of our elbows. So we're looking more at controlling and feeling that active down the side of our body in the obliques. So still keeping our plank position, maintaining that flat back, bringing our knees to the outside of our elbows. Now holding that plank position, you'll be bringing your opposite knee to your opposite elbow. So I'm bringing my right knee to my left elbow or wrist, going across body, back and forth. And for 2 more per side. Setting those knees down, we can shake the shoulders out. I know mine are starting to burn, so I'm sure yours are as well. We're gonna get back into our plank. Again, picking up that intensity. Here we go. We're gonna get into some traditional mountain climbers, pumping those knees up towards our chest. We're going fast, keeping that speed going. Five more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Setting those knees down, again, shaking the arms out. I know everything's getting pretty active for me. We're gonna get right back into our plank though. This time, going a little bit faster with our knees to the outside of our elbows. Feeling some good activation through the side body. Shoulders are for sure starting to burn. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, relax those on down. We're gonna get into our child's pose, taking a few breaths here. Taking some deep breaths, bringing our heart rates down. Sitting towards our heels, pressing your chest towards the mat, towards the ground again, wherever you happen to be today. Taking a few breaths here. If this is a stretch that feels good, you can continue going through this stretch. If you feel that you missed any spots of the body in this warm-up, go ahead, feel free, spend some extra time getting a good warm-up in on those. Otherwise, enjoy your main event today. Keep consistent, the results always follow. Have an awesome workout.